Gasly sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Barbizzo FTF Cup Series.
Into the lead. Bond gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas.
Get your foot there.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
Canvas is in.
Making up for his qualifying blunder from Bristol from a top practice run there. He starts 9th today, while Thomas Lewandowski makes his 3rd start of the season for the Wood brothers in the top 10.
We'll move on to P11 with Philip Snipes in an old 97 machine there for Rouse Racing, with 25 of Evan Locke next to him. Christina Ryan in the 4 car with Jacob Bradley the 3rd in the 60. Chris Champo in the 98 with Tyler Head in the 86 next to him. Matt Skipper and the Richard Petty 43 next to Brandon Cruz Monsavice in the 54. And then Jonathan Hernandez and Lanak Zier round out the top 20.
Coming over from the LCQ as well, Olivia Hayward today in an extra machine for the Morgan McClure Motorsports entries. Timothy Latham in row 11 as well. Tyler Murray and TJ Crampton, followed by Ali Osman and Alex Bates amongst those just outside the top 35. Keep an eye on them. Shane Calhoun starts 27th. First driver not to set a time, Nicholas Doucette. Amongst those who has to start from the pit lane tonight, Gabriel Mauricio amongst many who have to start from the pit lane along with Sean Pellig, 29th and 30th through grid slots.
Then Park Alexander 31st with Mike Alexander next to him. Brennan McGree and Emily Howe. Steve Gauthier and Jake Waltman. Then Quentin Clark and Anthony Krobach in an 18 MB&A Interstate Batteries machine. Ken Huff and Chris Hancock round out this group here, Justin.
Last driver on the grid tonight, Hayden Reapez. Of note, Parker Alexander tonight racing this event in the one machine with a broken hand was a potential no start for this evening. Also, Zach Campbell unable to make tonight's race. Now, the penalties, as talked about, 4 drivers starting for the pit lane. Mauricio, Pellick, along with Clark and Howell. 3 of those 4 just from the pit lane starts. Emily Howe, due to incident points from Bristol, has to start 2 laps down in the Napa machine. 1 lap until we take the green flag here in turn. Your expectations for today, as right now it's looking like a cold one actually for the track with clouds.
It is cloudy, and sorry to cut you off, JP. I was going to say, for Parker Alexander, if you could think of a track that you wanted to race one-handed or maybe 1.5-handed, JP, this slick Atlanta Motor Speedway would probably not be at the top of my list. This will be a long night for Parker Alexander. My expectation is not to see him up to his usual form, and I expect to see a lot of passing here on what is probably, in my opinion, maybe you can have a different one. Maybe the fastest non-super speedway we're going to visit on this schedule.
So all the drivers just about all set to go. Who do you feel could be the favorite here tonight, especially since no Campbell and no Graham Boland either?
Yeah, no Zach Campbell, something to talk about later. If I had to pick one, I'm probably going to stick with James Holzer. He's been a strong performer all season long, Justin, and a strong points contender. So that'd be my pick here in the 91, and we'll see what happens. We're about to go green, though.
41 entrants all set to go from Hampton, Georgia. 55 laps up on the board. As we're all set to go, it's the WINSTEL 2003 season. It's race 5 here on FDFGG. Jose Solis Jr. in control of the field along the left side of the track. Christian Budd on the outside. Green flag is out. We're underway from Atlanta. And caution is out. It's in the 20s. Several drivers spinning around in 1 and 2. Amongst those, Tyler Murray. And just like that, we are under yellow within the first 10 seconds from the green.
You know, JP, we'll wait and see what happens on the replay here, but I noticed instantly right about 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, there was a lot of checking up and a lot of not going right on the restart. I would not be surprised if that causes the accordion to move backwards to cause his first caution. And we'll wait until our producer, Zach Johnson, gets the first replay. Here it is, Justin.
Keep an eye on not only the 66, who had a good start, try to go up the middle. It's Murray right there in the gear shift.
Yeah, it looked like maybe... Oh! I don't know what that was. It looked like maybe Doucette didn't get a great start in the 24, and then it kind of forced a 3-wide situation, but he just got clipped from the back end. If we can see that again. Someone came in from the back end and just kind of caught him on the the back left quarter panel. I don't know what right left is.
It is again, they're only 3 wide.
Oh, it's the 5 machine who just kind of comes up though. And wow. And old Terry Labonte Kellogg's machine, which later became, I think, the Kyle Busch car and many others. Mark Martin had a stint in it, but yeah.
It's been a nightmarish start for the Hendrick Motorsports 5 for Ali Osman this season. Already drivers have gotten the confirmations on how they will have to serve some of the penalties from earlier. In fact, amongst those who are starting for the pit lane, Emily Howe amongst those who still has to serve an additional 1 lap of penalties. Howe only lost 1 lap prior to the caution flag waving from the pit exit. So that's why Howe stopped in the backstretch. A few drivers towards the back who were involved in the incident also electing to come down for pit service. So now it's the interesting mark. Already have the tone being set a little bit here. How do you play this out for the second restart, or second procedure to the green flag, I should say, if you're Jose Solis Jr. now?
I mean, he had a great jump on the first start, Justin. I saw nothing wrong with what he did. So now you just got to, get your head back into it. It's really easy as a driver, and this is the one problem with this kind of scenario where you go and you stop instantly. It's really, like, you can lose your headspace and kind of lose that focus because of it, Justin. So he just has to kind of get back into it. Say, okay, now we're going to go racing. That was just a practice start. If I didn't do well, I can fix it. But I thought Jose had a great start. Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, we mentioned the issues with Parker Alexander. He just had another one before getting up to the green flag signals next time by. Alexander was amongst those who just came into pit. It was amongst those who took fresh tires. On the access road here at Atlanta, it's not easy to exit the pit lane. He's already become the first victim of the grass in the infield into turn 1 and 2.
I'm surprised to see Parker on pit road, or at least taking gas, or I'm sorry, taking tires, if that's what happened. Let's watch the stop here. See if we see that car lift up.
Taking more tires again. There are unlimited tire sets in the series tonight, but there is a 55% fuel limit as well to consider.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about when we had a moment, was maybe he's just trying to set up a fuel run here. With the unlimited tires, I guess, why not take them other than you want them to heat up a little bit? It really could be, Justin, a lot of us in iRacing have our control set to a certain way. We like it with 2 hands. Maybe with that 1 hand, he can't get to his black box to turn those tires off.
We mentioned the spin. Let's take a look, and this is exactly what it's just referring to at the pit exit. Through the gears?
This is hard. Now watch this here. He's just going to loop it around. This is a slick surface down here. Remember, these are what, 8-ish 100 horsepower vehicles now that we're all trying for the first time. That's easier to do than you think.
So he's elected to top off a couple times, take tires a couple times after burning through the first set in a spin.
I'll tell you though, JP, the reason I don't like that, although I know he's setting up a fuel run for himself, is it puts you in the back of this field. I'm not a fan, honestly. Now, the confusing part here is pace car lights are out, JP, but I just saw someone in a wave by it looked like. I'm really confused here.
Chris Hancock had a technical issue before the start of the race, so he has been given a wave around by race control. That technical issue caused him to miss the green flag, hence why he's being given an opportunity here. The other drivers who were involved in the previous penalties have also already received EOL penalties for this upcoming restart. So Mauricio, Pellick, and Clark are back in 36th through 38th. Osman also will pass them before we get going. Speaking of drivers getting ready to go here, 50 laps to go here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Was Junior.
Single file start.
All set for the single file. Holzer already up to third. Green flag is out. Back on her way.
Look at that gap right there to Holzer, JP.
Holzer didn't get the greatest of runs. Here comes the run to turn 1 and 2. Silvestri the first side by side. Onside, the second fastest in practice much the way to the end. Christian Budd. Already a good run up to the corner amongst those on the top still. Poltak, first on the middle line. How critical would that line difference be today, in your opinion?
I don't think it's going to be critical, as I don't... my first impression was the bottom line is the right line here. So I mean, the difference isn't critical. I think it's going to be pretty obvious unless you get stuck outside. I mean, I think the people who get stuck outside are going to get freight trained, sort of like a Bristol or a Martinsville short track train. Maybe I'm wrong here. We'll find this high lane works, but oh, hold on.
Double Olivia Hayward towards the back of the field. We stay green for the time being. Word had started in the mid-pack as up to second is Holzer.
Yeah, so I mean, look at these corners here. We're going to watch again through 3 and 4 here, JP. The majority of the cars are going to take this bottom lane. The only reason I could think to take that top lane is a little bit of tire preservation.
That's interesting when it comes to Atlanta because of that difference on how the tire wear can be from bottom to middle to top.
Yeah, but look at them spread out here. I mean, they're not 3 wide, but they're 3 lanes wide.
Trouble in the background. Ben Hancock gets hit. He's up and around. Thomas Lewandowski stacks up. We're under caution. Daniel Silvestri collected hard. Timothy Latham slamming on in. Jacob Bradley at the end of the straightaway locks the brakes. Monsivice able to get through it with some damage.
Saw the 12 car go blowing through at the end, JP. Oh my goodness, there was a car up and over.
Look at the Hermes Sadler machine. Silvestri been strong throughout the season, but didn't make the top 35 points after a couple rounds. Take a look.
There's the 6th car, that Viagra machine. Oh, it's going to get some help here. Got up top and slowed up here. I think what happened was I think he got nervous about getting tight and coming up the track, and he lifted a little bit. And that that O2 machine, the old Hermes Sadler machine, just ran him over.
Keep in mind, Collins. You see, look, Collins got very loose too.
Yeah, maybe it's an issue of loose and not tight. I thought it was tight because he went up the track. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was loose and he lost the car. But regardless, watch this bottom lane here. And you see the 12 just go blowing through.
See, Monsivice was in the exact same area. Curious if there was a push there from them. And meanwhile, as we look towards the loops, let's take a look towards the strategies, because every driver just pit except for Jose Solis Jr. Oh, and we have a spin in the pit lane, in the middle of the lane right now, the 9 to Brent McGee. Holzer the first one out. The strategy has gotten really intriguing in the case of the leader.
Yeah, you know, that is intriguing. Obviously, part of me thinks that Jose Solis Jr. just missed the memo, so to speak. He didn't know that hitting was what was going to happen. And part of me says, you know what? Maybe he thinks there's enough cautions left here that it's not as important to get this gas right now as maybe everyone else thinks it does.
Under caution, here for WINSTEL competition. You're watching FTFGG from Atlanta. Welcome back to WINSTEL competition as we get ready for the restart. An intriguing call for Jose Solis Jr., the only top driver in the entire field not to pit during this caution period. Coming to 42 laps to go, it could get intriguing. Only 2 drivers in the whole field took 2 tires also, Bates and Holzer. Holzer is starting second, Derek.
I think that might be an okay call, Justin, real quick before we go green here, because we didn't put that many laps on those tires. I think that's an okay call. I do. But of course, now for the first time tonight, we're going to have a car on the inside for this restart, and that could make things spicy here coming into turn number 1, Justin.
Chris Hancock still 1 lap down. Now Hancock plays this out with the green flag waving, off and away. And already Hancock dropping back, Holzer jumping clear already. Some of the drivers already going to the bottom. Look at the background of Hernandez. 3 wide, all well. Side by side, builds up multiple rows deep. Oh, and Koenigs again.
Everyone's good. Everyone's saved, I think, but a lot of cars going wide. The 2 car all the way to the bottom.
Big check up there at the bottom of the racetrack to keep it on the circuit for Chris Ciampo. All this as well. Jose Solis Jr. has become a sitting duck. Hernandez trying to hold off several lanes, including Mauricio, who's coming back from the penalties earlier. A lot of different strategies popping up here. Let's look at the front.
Yeah, a lot of different strategies, JP. This is only a 55-lap race. And, you know, the goal in life and anything you do should be to be better than, less than, or different than. If you're the same as someone else or something else, you're just not going to succeed. So that's the goals you get to look at by these drivers. Who can be better at or different at than the other drivers.
Holzer trying to hold off Bud. Ryan Doucette and the Jasper Penske powered machine on the bottom. Potak also amongst that top 5 still, with Solis Jr. trying to work the bottom side. The interesting mark's going to be the fuel strategy here tonight, because the time of the caution flags. Remember, Las Vegas, it was not, some drivers weren't even expecting to make it 20 laps. How long, realistically, can the 29 do it, as here comes the battle for the lead?
Yeah, and that's the question. Of course, these guys are going to have a couple more laps in the 29, so he'll have to pit slightly early if we stay green. The question will just be, can he make it to that one-stop, area? If I were the 29, I might actually give up the lead a little right here, Justin, and then stay behind someone in the draft and make up those laps that I did not pit under. Obviously, he wants to get up here and lead, but I would just stay behind in the draft and save some gas.
Snaking around this, allowing Dylan Roberts, Nicholas Doucette, Jacob Bradley, John Pellig to gain some time as well. Here's a look from the 8 of Roberts. Roberts has had a very silent campaign so far in his 3 counting starts. Top 10 of the points. He was in the top 2 before Bristol.
Yeah, you know what? In those silent campaigns, JP, in this season, when we're going to do the whole season point system, no playoffs, no chase, no nothing. Just the old 2003 full season points. Those silent campaigns, we could be talking about him at the end just because he's just kind of there every time and earning those points.
Jacob Potak again committed to the top. Makes it work to get around Ryan Doucette. Move the 46 up to the top 3. Potak has been very impressive. His ascension in this series the past year has been extremely impressive.
Yeah, and this is a very hard series to really, I don't say succeed in, but there's a lot of talent. I mean, we have eNASCAR drivers, we have former eNASCAR drivers, we have just people well known with high iRating in this series. This is a stacked field week by week. So for someone like Jacob Potak to grow every season, that's an accomplishment, and that's not a knock on him. That's an accomplishment for any driver to do well in this series.
The part in the midst of this battle, though, is closing up about 9/10 of a second. About 35 laps to go in the race. Top 9 have broken away for the rest of the pack. Solis Jr. still with the old tires. Trying to hold on to spots, but is about to lose some. Has some scrapes to the right side. Right side of him is Roberts.
Yeah, I don't think that... Oh, hold on. Caution. Caution,
and it's down the back stretch, and it's right around them, in fact. 22 machine. Steve Gauthier involved.
5 again?
Matt Skipper.
No, that's not the 5. I apologize.
Yep, that's Matt Skipper down there again. Kolinix again was in the vicinity getting loose. And it looks like the BAM Racing Dodge has picked up a bit of a BAM to its machine, Mike Alexander.
Well, I think this completely wipes off that conversation about Jose and his strategy. I think he'll come down this time, and we'll clear that conversation off. But watch in the background here. There it is.
Wow.
Oh.
A lot of loose cars out of turn 2 tonight.
I mean, that's the danger of this track, JP. It's been known as a very slick track at all times. And once again, it looks like a spot where someone's checking up because they're loose, and then they're getting run over for it.
Hard slam for a few different drivers there. Kolinix again in the same spot. Nearly lost it a 3rd time this race.
Yeah, but look at that. That Cheerios car just Tokyo drifted through the corner there, Justin. And thought they were doing the right thing by checking up and then got run over for their efforts. That's difficult to accept as a driver.
Pit stop party underway. Solis Jr. expected coming down this time. Most of the other competitors in his vicinity also doing so. Ryan Doucette the first off the pit lane with 2. Everyone else taking 4. Intriguingly enough, for now, Gauthier, who was involved in that wreck, electing to stay out on the racetrack. He did not get the lap led, though.
Yeah, I thought the same thing you were going to say. I thought maybe he was looking for the point bonus for leading a lap. I don't think he's really going to try to, stay out here for the green, is he? That would be surprising, would be a word.
That's significant damage. Wouldn't be surprised if it's this time by. Keep in mind, since Olivia Hayward is a lap down still, several laps in fact down, there is still an opportunity for an extra pace lap to get the repairs done. Seen Hayward wants those. Going to take the wave. Snipe staying out, though. Wants those who lost a lot of time in the sequences. And, okay, I just mentioned Philip Snipes' name in the Rubbermaid Ford. He is now your leader.
Ow.
Snipes had been in the back after starting the teens today. Significant damage. Just got the lap lead bonus. And now it gets really intriguing if Snipes stays out here. What can Snipes do here on 10 lap old tires but with significant front and back end damage?
So this is the case, what I talked about earlier under green, Justin, of better than, less than, or different than. Sometimes you have to try something weird to put yourself in a spot for good track position. Listen, he started 11th, may have been struggling on these first couple runs. You get up here, maybe a couple quick cautions come out, it levels off the field for the next set of pit cycles. Maybe you're doing okay. Sometimes you have to try crazy things, when you are in a spot where you think you're not going to have a good race day. I'm not sure that I fully support this idea because, maybe he's coming down though. Hold on. Maybe my talk is pointless. Never mind.
I'm surprised in this one because I believe it's a green flag penalty if you come down this lap.
Yeah, we're one to go, right? I'm not sure what's going on here.
So either way, Ryan Doucette is now your leader on track. Holzer, Bud, Potak, Roberts, Solis Jr. coming out in the top 6. Helig coming back from a pit road start because of the time of the caution flags to get to 7th. Bradley, Doucette, and Hernandez, who's missed a couple races with the knockout quali in 10th.
Yeah.
How about the recovery for the 48?
I was going to talk about the same thing, a big recovery. In fact, can we talk about for real quick what a benefit that first caution was to those drivers, how Peleg and others who had to start on pit road? That caution meant they could start on pit road and come out and not have the field going, 180, 190, 200, by them and trying to keep up with them. That was a benefit to those cars.
Alec, the first of those. Mauricio, who also was penalized for that, is already up to the top 11 as well. Clark, who is also a part of that, back in 24th, however.
Only?
Is all the way back, yes.
Sorry, I was going to say the only car who's a lap down is Olivia Hayward, and they're lining Olivia up at the back of the field versus the inside.
We'll see how this goes. Drivers have been warned. Do not change lanes before the start and finish line. Doucette really spinning the tires out on 2. Here comes Holzer. Oh, and a deep send from Doucette. Ryan Doucette holds on. Here comes Bud for second. Three wide behind him as Solis Jr. wants spots back. Roberts able to sneak in middle. Potak on his happy spot on the top side.
What a gift that was for the 77, Justin, in some ways. Spun the tires, left the top lane open on a restart, and didn't get past on a single-file restart system. That's a gift right there that Doucette received that he needs to be grateful for.
Already picked up a decent buffer over Holzer, finally clear. Meanwhile, Roberts trying to hold off Peleg. Here comes the Hendrick Motorsport Chevy.
Holzer, of course, a great competitor last year in WINSTEL. Was a finalist or near a finalist, or at least on the final race was a contention. Not able to be at the race, but Holzer had a great season last year in the Gen 4 Challenge or in the old series. So I'm not surprised to see him, having a good time here this year.
Peleg, meanwhile, not able to clear on by Roberts on the bottom this time. Looking like Solis Jr. trying the top side as well. Most of the passes, intriguingly enough, have been made on the middle line, and more so than the bottom so far. Trouble! Up the track goes Crampton! Hard slam to the side for Ciampo.
Oh, I saw that come in the last second. That was not good.
So another caution flag. Champo really showing off the damage model on these cars. Apparently, Hayden Reap has also kept to the grass in that, as we're back under caution yet again.
Yeah. Gonna get loose out of 4. I know. Hold on. Nope. Got a little help.
That's the 66.
Had it gathered up and then I think hit the gas a little too soon and got it loose again. The 2 car just had to believe that he was going to get it gathered up and just nothing you could have done there as a 2, I don't think. Here's the 66, makes the contact. Very slight contact, Justin.
Jake Waltman.
Oh, from the 2's perspective, nothing you could do there.
Both of them significant damage repair to end their races. Let's look one more time. It's from the 2.
You can see the smoke ahead. Letting up. You hear the engine letting up a little bit. And oh, that's just how fast it happens. That's not, wow. That's not fair to the 2. My guess is if we could hear it from the 0's perspective, my guess would be that once they had it gathered, Justin, and got on the gas pedal a little too soon, a little too heavy, and the car just came back out from under them again, I would suspect.
So Champo has to be expected in the pit lane. And different strategies coming out to play yet again. A split call because of the timing of that run. First off the pit lane, Christian Budd over Pellig in 29 of Solis Jr. But Holzer, Bradley, Ben Hancock, Gauthier, Mike Alexander, Huff, Snipes, Calhoun are all drivers who stay out this caution flag.
This is the interesting part to me, and I think it's going to work out for Holzer not because of the decision, but because of the buffer that they will have back to the first car that did pit. That's the difference between this time and what happened with Solis, 10, 15 laps ago, Justin, is Solis was a sitting duck all by themselves. James Holzer now has, 5 or... I'm trying to forget to count my head, but 4 or 5 cars of a buffer before those new tires get to him.
I'm very intrigued how this can go with some lap drivers, by the way, moving out of the way there. Snipes included in those, well as Ken Huff and Mike Alexander. That reduced the buffer, but the intriguing part is with Gauthier's situation here. Gauthier, remember, is involved in some of the cautions. However, the 22 was able to get the damage repaired to the point where it looks nearly brand new if you look at the Dodge in the backdrop. Did I mention you can fix it if you have enough time with the damage model? And it looks like he did test that theory with 1 minute and 11 seconds of repair.
Yeah, I will say there's a bunch of people in the iRacing Gen 4 Cup this past week at who challenged that idea at Richmond and were able to fix it and keep it moving. Yeah, that's something you can do with these cars. You can fix them pretty well. They do take some engine damage, but yes, you can fix these up and get them near perfect and just, pit stop by pit stop, just keep taking those repairs.
With this strategy up in the top 4 now. Monsto's looking to prove they can stay up here too. I think you can throw in the Mark Martin machine of Ben Hancock. Because, remember, we talked about this a touch bit with how things went at Bristol. Hancock in that 6 had been top of the board in practice, but had a terrible qualifying run. Couldn't get through the field until the later stages, but still got the top 35 tiebreaker because they had the best result of those tied for 35th, or rather in that tiebreaker situation. Repeats that performance, top 5 in practice, top 10 in qualifying, and now is top 3 for the restart.
Yeah, good run so far, so that's great to see how that's going to go. Now, JP, interesting note, despite the fact the sun is out, from I can do my simple math, we are 4 degrees down on track temp from when the broadcast started. So we're seeing slick cars, and I thought to myself, man, I wonder if the track temp is going up. Nope, just the opposite. You would want to think that would mean that these cars would have more grip, but that's not the case so far, apparently.
Down to 92 degrees Fahrenheit, starting at about 96 tonight. But all set to go already, about halfway through plus. 22 laps to go coming up. Holzer, Bradley, Hancock, Gouthier, Bud, Helig, Solis Jr., Nick Doucette, Hernandez, Mauricio. Top 10, Ryan Doucette. The first of those who took 4 tires in 11th. Last caution. Holzer already keeping a decent buffer to the pace car. Green, green, green. Back underway. Bradley amongst those also looking to impress, one of his best positions up this entire race in the 60, and look at this, 3 wide already, Gouthier knew into the wall.
They quickly got that sorted back out, JP, to 2 wide. They decided 3 wide in Atlanta was not a good idea. Nope, they're going to do it again.
Bud, Solis Jr., Hancock already taking 3 wide and getting shuffled fast. Hancock into the wall. There goes the Pfizer Ford. Bud zips on by. Nick Doucette joins the fun as Solis Jr. knocks the wall down.
Now we're 3 wide back here for about 10th place or so.
An absolute hornet's nest forming up. Here's a look at Helig now from the middle line. Flippity slidey, Bud holding on to the bottom. The only of those staying on the middle line that time. Not on the middle line, rather, was Bud.
And look at the different lines being used here, JP. You asked about it, and I said I thought everyone would stick to the bottom. Boy, what I don't know, apparently. Look at these guys using every inch of this racetrack. If there's a piece of track available, they're going to make use of it, apparently.
Solis Jr., the first of those through from the pit stop cycle. Able to zip by Bradley. Now Nick Doucette underneath the 60. Now remember, that 60 entry was one of the part-time cars in real life for David Green and Brian Vickers. That machine letting drivers go now with the 2-3 wide underneath.
Let me point out, though, the difference of clean air at Atlanta, JP. We're watching all these great battles of 2 and 3 wide, but look at our leader. Has no battles, can run their own line, and look at that gap they've already opened up to 2nd and 3rd place, who keep battling. Oh, hold on, slow car.
Trouble, Jake Waltman having to tow the cars. Hard contact to the inside wall. We stay green. Waltman already leaving the racetrack. Holzer, though, with a half a second advantage over the rest of the Hornets' nest.
And boy, look how big that looks. It is half a second, you're right, but look how big that looks on a track like Atlanta. That looks in some ways bigger than half a second. But here you go, Doucette now up to the top here. And it's going to clear 2nd place and come on down, I think.
Strategy could be huge, too. Keep in mind, with 17 laps to go, Helig making some moves, though, to get around Solis Jr. Helig is pushing as hard as he can right now on those 2 tires. Most of the field, mind you, on them.
Yeah, we got a Hendrick battle here, JP, and what would have been, I think, the rookie or maybe the 2nd year for that 48 machine at this time. Up there fighting with the 24.
Now to pass by Nicholas Doucette for the time being. Just looking like the patience game starting to come into play here with the time difference. Of note, Mauricio, we mentioned, had been around 11th amongst that pit road penalty game. He's up to 6th spot, too, and closing in on that battle in front.
You know, JP, the one thing I'm surprised about in this race so far, we've seen wrecks out of 2, we've seen them out of 4. That dog leg, that D shape on the front straight has been the cleanest part of the track so far. And I think that's the part of the track that really usually gives drivers the most part of trouble. Getting into those, those slight corners can be very difficult for a driver, but it's been the cleanest part of the racetrack so far.
Yeah, it's been very clean on the front straightaway area. Turn 2 has been the tricky spot. As now, Solis Jr. still can't clear on by Bud. Side by side, closing up for the lead. Meanwhile, everyone else has caught up to Holzer. Holzer's half a second advantage, down to just a 10th over Nicholas Doucette, who goes for the lead.
See if you can make this stick. The bottom lane is typically the fastest. If you know math, you know that. Oh, hold on. Oh,
in a loose moment, here comes Helig, 14 to go.
And the 24 couldn't keep it down there, and decided to lift versus making contact with Holzer. And now the 48's going to try and clear him, and I think he's going to, with the help... Nope, never mind.
Nearly into the door, in fact, of the Casey Atwood machine. Holzer still holding middle. Peleg trying to push him up to the top, though. 3 wide for the race lead.
Oh, the 48's loose.
They touch. There's the slide. Peleg spins around. But into the wall. Caution flag is out with 13 to go.
Hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake. Oh, don't let it slide. And that was a tight 3 wide battle. I think the 48 just couldn't hold it. There may have been contact. You may be right, but ooh, man, the 48 probably wanted the 24 to get behind him, JP, and just give that draft push to clear the Holzer, but it never happened.
Christian Budd mandatory repairs. Peleg significant damage. Let's take a look.
I think he just got loose. Did make contact with the 29 and the 17, though. Oh, that's so lucky to get down that track like that and not hit you on JP.
Peleg making strong strides all race to get to this chance. And you can see the idea.
You see him flirt with the throttle and the car is starting to wiggle and then just never fully recovered. Oh, that's a scary moment.
That was Jacob Bradley nearly getting into there. But that brings us back under caution with 12 laps to go. Everybody again to the pit lane, except for Mike Alexander. So now it's the matter for the time being of how this goes. So is Junior. Despite some of the contact there, taking 2 tires leads them off. Also staying out, by the way, Ken Huff. But those drivers have pit the second time around much of the race for the pit cycle. So on that note, getting ready for the closing stages from Atlanta Motor Speedway, you're watching WINSTEL action here on FTFGG. Glad to have you with us once more for tonight's action, 2003 season. As these drivers situate themselves out here amongst the big movers to talk about outside of those with point penalties currently. And Anthony Krobach earlier on today up to a plus 23 up on the grid. Now likely to 13th. With the pit stop strategies taking place here. Krobach amongst those able to keep the car clean much of the race. Also amongst those moving ahead several spots of note. Tyler ahead. Moving for the uprising of Graham Bowen. Had been the points leader for several races. Top 3 in the points. 86 now up in the top 3. Behind, so is Junior and Mauricio on the 2 tire strats. That Fred Jones-inspired paint scheme still holding on to the spots. The interesting mark is going to be the 4 tire calls taken. Holzer, Nick Doucette, Bradley, Hernandez. The first of those in the 4 tires, part of the pack. Remember the next time up when it comes to WINSTEL competition, coming up after the spring/Easter break. Going back racing in a few weeks' time, doing the Texas 2-step at Texas Motor Speedway for the Samsung Radio Shack 500. It's set here on FTFGG. So getting all set to go, coming at 10 laps to go. Justin Prince, Derek Watson with you. Zach Johnson, our producer here on FTFGG, as we get ourselves geared up for one of the most critical restarts of the race so far. Cautions have bred cautions much of the night. Longest green flag run has been around the 7 to 10 lap mark. Just reaching the 10 lap to go mark. Some of the drivers now moving to the back with the lap traffic. Race control has informed drivers to close out the gaps on the racetrack. Those have been significant much of the restart times today. See some of those gaps still trying to figure themselves forward at the back of the field. For example, you see Ali Osman amongst those. Monts of ice.
And you know,
others.
JP, the reason why these gaps are important to talk about is because maybe you want to keep a gap to the driver in front of you because you want to get a run. But I was kind of hinted by race control. It's not fair to people on different tire strategies when they get held back 3 and 4 spots behind because you want to have a gap to the car in front of you.
All set to go. So is Junior already trying to build a gap between him and Mauricio. Coming up to the restart zone. 9 laps to go. Back underway. And a massive gap between the 2-tire group and the 4-tire group. Oh, and a big block Ryan Doucette through the gears. Jacob Potek nearly getting into him. Potek up the track as the splitter in the Valence hits. Side by side down the back. Holtzer the best out of those in the 4-tire starts. Roberts trying to hold off Nick Doucette, able to do so on the middle line. Once again, Potek looking to follow suit as well. Holtzer under attack by Nick Doucette. 8 to go. Something has to give here, Derek.
Yeah, I was kind of watching to wait to see what it was going to be before I said anything, but you're right, something has to give. And if nothing gives, these top 2 are just going to walk away because of all this side-by-side racing behind them, especially for like 5th and 6th right now. That's what Jose Solis and the others want to see up front, is in the side-by-side racing that will create that time gap here.
Ryan Doucette still not backing down. Potek still wanting to find a way to get around. So doing the same up at the very top of the racetrack.
The curiosity for me, JP, is we've not really talked much about Gabriel and Mauricio tonight. This is the first time we're really seeing them up front, and now we don't know what their moves are, what their strategy is. Do they have something for the leader? That would be an interesting question I had in old Sterling Marlin Coors Light machine.
Keep in mind, he had been very strong in the 2006 campaign amongst the top 10 in the point standings for the chase overall. 3 wide as Ryan Doucette's up the middle. Holtzer outside. Nick Doucette bottom.
He's almost 4 wide. You can tell by the intensity here with 6 to go and how bad these guys want to get passes. When you're willing to almost push 4 wide at Atlanta, you must want it really bad. That's wow.
And they still are stuck 2 by 2, coming up 5 laps to go.
That old papyrus machine right there behind Dylan Roberts. Dylan Roberts now has cleared the field and will likely move down, or at least to the middle, to help get a good run out here.
Towerhead forced up very top. Holtzer still trying to find a way around some of the others on 2 tires here. Nobody giving an inch, coming up 4 laps to go. Oh, and into the wall goes Towerhead. Head nearly hits it a second time. Forced to back up as there goes the 77.
Yeah, Tyler Head right there hit the wall and did the right thing. I mean, kind of got pushed up. No contact, but I mean, they sort of shortened that space he had, so that's where he ended up. Man, look at this, how great the competition this race is. There's battles all the way back. If you see a long shot here on the back of the screen, look at all the battles just 2 wide all the way back there, Justin.
Holtzer trying to move. Really loose into the grass. 3 to go as Holtzer gets shuffled back. Everybody trying to find a way to get around a third or on forward here. The problem is the top 2 have pulled away by 0.6 of a second.
Well, and the problem bigger than that, JP, is every time you fight side by side like this, you're letting them get away further and further. I know you need to make a pass to get there, but yeah, they're pulling away. We're going to come 2 to go here at the line.
Coming to 2 to go. The top 2 covered by just 0.1 of a second. Mauricio looking for his first win in these cars in WINSTEL competition. To the bottom goes Solis Jr. Is he a loose though on the bottom? Touch bin as here comes the 40.
And Mauricio got a little loose on the top, on the entrance to the corner, so they both had the same problem in different spots.
Coming up to the white flag, this time by Mauricio, looking to dime in the corner. Mauricio trying to get to the corner panel, but the caution is out.
Oh, that's so close. Maybe hundreds of feet.
Oh, and the
Holtzer.
entire main group explodes.
Oh, no.
There goes Silvestri straight into Tyler Head. Krolbach, who had been one of the biggest movers, has spun on the front stretch.
Contact
wow.
there even. Wow. You know, I think it's worth saying, JP, these cars were updated to Gen 4 as far as the engine and a few other specs, but those brakes are still difficult. They're not like they're difficult. I'm not making fun. I'm not joking about how ARCA brakes. I'm just saying it's hard to get on the brakes here and really get any effect that quickly. There's Head on the outside. Here's the 91 of Holzer on the outside of the 77 of Doucette. I think this no. That might be a meet in the middle, Justin. I'm not sure if I want to assign blame to that.
And then you have the second part with Head getting turned. And
then
it's Calamity.
Turned again. Right there.
And the tough thing on the timing is Mauricio was ready to make the move.
Tough thing on the timing is that both the leader and second place thought they had this race in the white flag condition. Nope. No, I don't know how. I don't know what happened there. Wow.
Here's where Krolbach gets sent down, and wow.
See, here's what I think happens there for that contact with Head. If you notice a second ago, the 18 at NH8 batter's machine cut through the grass. And I think once they cut through the grass, that's when he realizes Tyler Head is sitting there. I don't think he knew it before then. Watch Tyler Head here.
With
He's
Head.
going to see it. Oh, I think the 77 comes up, if anything.
I'm very curious what Silvestri saw there.
Yeah, I thought maybe the 18 was in the way, but that replay told me I was wrong, which does happen from time to time. I don't know what Silvestri saw. Here we go. I think this is it.
Yeah, let's see. He had been running in the teens.
So at this point up ahead, you can start to see the smoke any second now. There it is. No, there's some lift.
Oh, and gas it. Wow. Gas it, don't gas it. Why don't you?
Very indecisive there. I don't know. Yeah.
Remember one of the MBM Motorsports machines who was involved in that? I believe it's when Mike Skinner was in fill-in. Involved in the spin where crew chief or the spotter says, gas it. Then you have Ken Schrader fall in front from the sky. That kind of is resemblant of that.
What that actually more so resembled to me in a different way, a different track completely, would have been the Dale Jarrett incident that sort of caused us to no longer have racing back to the line, where Tyler Head probably thought it was over. He thought, oh, okay, well, I'm sitting here, guys are slowing down, oh my gosh, and that had to be how that felt right there.
So we are in WINSTEL overtime, which means no more caution flags from here on out. And expect wheel spin to be aplenty here because nobody inside the top 20 pit.
Nor would you, I don't think. I mean, there's 2 to go. It's a guaranteed 2 to go, as you sort of hinted at, but let's spell it out, obviously. No matter what happens, we're racing this through. If there's a... Race Control has said if there's a wreck of 15 cars, then we're just gonna race it out. So it'd be hard-pressed to give up any kind of track position here. Because there's not multiple restarts here. It's one. Yeah, I don't know.
So, 1 to go signal on the racetrack. So it's Junior and Mauricio, 1 and 2. Roberts, Doucette, Potak, Hernandez, one of his best runs of the year in 6th. A much-needed recovery drive from last round for Emily Howe, up to 7th after coming down from 2 laps down. Evan Locke in 8th, looking to see if he can hold top 10 spots on merit, like he did with qualifying last time knockout. Colin Alexander with a broken hand on the top 10.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but with this system here of a single file restart, a lot of times we talk about maybe wanting to be in 2nd place in a restart and getting to get a jump on the leader. In this restart system, that's not the case. I think the leader has the preferred spot here. I don't want to be the leader on this restart no matter what.
All set to go. Pace car is off. The RCR machine in control of the field, so as Junior takes it careful. And everybody keeps it clean for the green. Here we go. 2 to go. Here comes Roberts on the send. Nick Doucette coming to speed on the 4 tires. Roberts gets loose. Good cushion for the 29. Nick Doucette, the first of the 4 tire drivers through. Roberts trying to hold on the 2 tires. White flag up at the stand. Final lap to go from Atlanta.
Yeah, Roberts had a shot there and definitely missed out when he got loose. Now it's Solis. Oh, big wreck in the back. We're going to stay green. We're all going to be in the grass and be okay.
Bradley and a few others in that incident. So was Junior way loose from the lead.
Mauricio's going to get
down the
one
back
more.
stretch. Here comes the send from Nicholas Doucette. Can he stick it? No.
Maybe. Hold on.
So as Junior holds on. So as Junior wins in Atlanta over Mauricio.
Well, look at that big patch of loose. Oh, hold on to wreck. Emily Howe and others.
And it's the big one right after the checker flag yet again.
Everybody's sending it in to celebrate the end of the race.
Everybody demolishing the race cars, why don't they? But it's So Is Junior who keeps it clean. Well, until then, on the way to a victory.
Well,
that was a nice from Dylan.
I was going to say, like, this was definitely a restart that where multiple people had an opportunity and couldn't make it stick. We saw Roberts try. We saw Doucette try. Mauricio, surprisingly, was the one who made the smallest move or no move. And probably had the best chance to make a move, Justin. But congratulations to your race winner, Jose Solis Jr.
So the only damage picked up is from the failed attempt at a congratulatory bump from Dylan Roberts. So as Junior gets to celebrate. Strong performance overall tonight for the 29 of 60 laps led. Very fitting, the car number.
And there is something very fitting, JP, real quick, about saying the 29 wins at Atlanta.
Think back to 2001 Atlanta, to say the very least. Well, let's take a look at what happened on the front straightaway. 3 wide, 4 wide?
Oh, the 16 got ran over by the 4. I'm pretty sure.
One of the I'm curious whose bumper was the one everyone passed. There it is.
There it is. That was coming to their white flag, by the way.
Yeah, there were not some happy drivers on the radio from that. Unofficial race results. So it's Junior, Mauricio, Nick Doucette, Potak, and Roberts the top 5. Howe and Hernandez with Law, Kovacs, and Alexander, your top 10. A lot of storylines in the midst of that top 10, to put it that way.
There really are, Justin. Steve Gothi in 11th, Alex Bates in 12th, Matt Skipper in 13th, Brandon Cruz at Monsivice in 14th, with Brendan McGee in 15th, and then Ali Osman, Sean Peleg, Ben Hancock, Lilac Sear, and Anthony Krobach, round out your top 20.
21st tonight goes to Tyler Murray, involved in the first caution of the race. Lewandowski coming in for the knockout qualifying. 22nd, Rapez in 23rd. Snipes. Then James Holzer was a contender at one point, but in 25th at the end. With Latham, Hayward, Ryan Huff, and Clark, your top 30.
Let's go back to 31st. We'll pick it up there with Jacob Bradley, followed by Chris Hancock, then Mike Alexander, and Tyler Head. Alexander, by the way, the first car 1 lap down, and all these guys are more laps down. Tyler Head, Ryan Doucette, Daniel Silvestri, C. Shane Calhoun, Christian Budd, TJ Crampton, Jake Waltman, and in last place would be Chris Champeau, 31 laps down in that 98 machine.
That's all talked about in tonight's running order here for WINSTEL competition from Atlanta. Drivers getting the chance to celebrate. Speak to some of those drivers in the next few moments or so as well here. Amongst those standing on by to start things off, let's go 3rd through 1st today, as Nicholas Doucette able to work on the 4 tires to get up to 3rd in the end from 28th starting spot. Nick, how difficult was then those final sequences? 4 tires compared to the 2 to get through the pack.
Well, I can tell you the cautions really helped. You know, I was struggling really bad to get my way back up there to the leaders who had taken 2 tires, which, to be honest, I really did feel like was the right call. I knew I would have better long run speed on the 4 tires, but I knew we weren't going to get that long of a run, and I was actually shocked we did for as long as we did there until we got the caution right before the white flag. But man, everyone was just sliding around that race. It didn't matter if you were on 1 lap old tires or 10 lap old tires. You're on a slip and slide. And quite honestly, I didn't think I was going to finish anywhere near to the front. So I've absolutely shocked myself. But what a race, really. Honestly, like the green flag runs that we did get were a lot of fun. I somehow found a way to save tires, which anyone who knows me knows that I don't know how to save tires to save my life. So no, overall it was a really fun time, and I'm just glad I finished P3. I think this is the first time that I've spoke to you guys this year.
I was about to say, when it comes to this race as well, not the greatest of qualifying runs, but had the practice and race speed. What's been that hurdle, it seems, in qualifying this year compared to last year?
Probably the extra power. Everyone's still adapting to the new Gen 4 cars and all the extra horsepower and everything. And I'm not trying to put any blame on my equipment, but I am running on 2005 equipment here, and I'd like to believe it's on my way out, or maybe my skill level's on the way out. But I just haven't been able to do as well in qualifying as I did last year for some reason. I wish I knew why. I really don't know. But yeah, I just like, for example, tonight in qualifying, I went into turn 1, and it just had no grip. I ran it the same way I practiced a couple minutes prior to qualifying, and I just drove it right up into the wall. So no, it's been a challenge to make my way through the field, but who doesn't love a challenge?
So a few more weeks to be able to focus things forward here after the Easter break. We head to Texas, the legacy version of Texas. Opinions on Texas compared to Atlanta, even though there's similar shapes here.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm expecting the Texas race to be kind of similar to Atlanta. I assume it to be a hot, slick track. Banking and whatnot's a little bit different, and the lines are going to be a little bit different. But I assume the setup to drive overall close to the same. It'll definitely be an interesting race. I feel like I finished P3 there last year, if I'm not mistaken. P3 or P2, I can't remember. I got lucky on that race as well, so hopefully we can have another race with either some skill or some luck involved.
Well, congrats on the top 3 tonight. Strong drive to the field.
Thanks.
That's Nick Doucette coming away with the 3rd spot tonight. You know who really drove to the field and drove from the pit lane, mind you, to start the race? Gabriel Mauricio. Mauricio comes away with a 2nd place finish. He's with Derek.
Gabriel, what a night for that 40 car. As Justin said, you started, from the pit road and drove you all the way up there. How did you accomplish that? How did you end up 2nd for the last restart?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. I got just so lucky on the restarts. I always went for the outside. I knew the inside up would always be loose on exit, and so I just had to be careful on the restart, not do anything stupid like I did at Bristol. I just cut somebody off and had to start from the pits, but wasn't too worried about starting from the pits. I had to do that before last year at Martinsville, and wasn't too big of a problem. I was kind of expecting this race to be at least have a couple of long runs. Usually when the cars hard to drive, people kind of take it easy. It depends, but wasn't the case of, unfortunately, a lot of cautions. Fortunately for me, it helped me a lot. I was able to just make passes on the restart, and on the pit stops, not really. I took 4 tires most of the time in the beginning. I was worried about taking 2 and just hurting the car in general, and wasn't the case. There was that big wreck on the front stretch. I barely plowed into the wreck like an idiot. I don't know why I waited so long to check up, but it put me in position to fight for the win again. I wasn't even not sure what to do. I didn't practice that much because I was kind of bummed that I was going to start from the pits, but in that couple laps that we got, I was trying to get to the outside of Jose, but I was just killing the right front. I was overdriving too much and getting tight, and by the time I got loose, it was too late, so it was starting to lose off.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. So on that last restart, We saw both, I think the 8 and the 24 try to make a move on the inside of Jose to get the win there. Had they not made that move, were you willing to make that move, or were you just not going to make that move like they did to the inside?
Yeah, that's the thing. I wanted to get to the outside, but on the restart, it was spinning the tires so much because of the horsepower that he had the outside covered. So I kind of wanted to look to the inside, like fake him, and then go to the top. But by that time, Dylan got to my inside, and then Jose was kind of cutting me off. So I'm like, I don't want to wreck him. So I checked up and kind of lost momentum. Dylan went to the inside, and he got really loose off and lost a lot of ground. And then it kind of helped me that I lost ground to the Jose, because it made me focus and get a good run to catch him back and hold off Nick. I think if I had a better restart, I would not be able to pass Jose and actually lose the position to Nick, because he had more like ground to set up something. But I mean, overall, great result. Was just hoping for a top 10 after having to start from the pits, and once again, I'm trying to get a win. I want to win again, but I'm really happy to get a second again.
I understand. Well, listen, you keep doing that well, and I'm sure the win will come to you. Gabriel Mauricio finished his second tonight in the 40 car, Justin, and a good run by him.
Coming back from the pit road penalty, but tonight, Jose Solis Jr. putting on the performance up at front from the get-go on the pole into victory lane. Jose, strong performance this evening. First of all, how difficult was it to try and hold on to the lead in the situations you had to face tonight?
It was definitely difficult throughout the night because I was trying to balance like saving tires and going fast, and especially at the end when I had damage, it was definitely hard to try and keep the lead the entire night.
And how difficult was it to pick the right strategy? At one point, you were even caught off guard, it seemed, as the only person in the entire field not to pit on the first caution.
Yeah, it was hard to keep track of like what best strategy was the entire night because there's a lot of yellows, so there's a lot of unpredictability. So I just tried to, after that yellow where I stayed out, I just tried to follow everyone else, what everyone else was doing, since I didn't really know what I was doing either.
So, Easter break coming up. Solid start to the campaign. A big momentum swing for you in this respective race. What's that focal point going to be now being like, knowing that you've got this momentum with the victory, but a tough stretch coming up with Texas, Martinsville, California, Charlotte, and Michigan all in a row, back-to-back-to-back weeks, essentially.
Yeah, I think for the next few races, it's definitely just going to be trying just like finishing consistently well in like the top 10. I can definitely do well in like Texas and like Charlotte, but like Michigan is just, there's going to be a lot of pack racing in one, so it's just going to be a complete wild card. So let's see how if I can just race claim those races.
Well, congrats on the victory tonight once again, Jose. It's your first of the season. Congrats.
Thank you.
Jose Solis Jr. coming away with the victory today. I'd like to thank him, Gabriel Mauricio, Nicholas Doucette for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on FTFGG. On that note, Derek, an intriguing race here from Atlanta. Lots of cautions, yes, but strategy became a big focal point, it seemed, in turn because of the 6 yellow flags tonight.
Yeah, not something I thought we'd see, JP, with that strategy coming into play, but it definitely worked out for Jose and others to make different calls, and congrats to him on a very slick and wild Atlanta Motor Speedway.
See what you did there. But on that note, it's time to say goodbye. The next time WINSTEL competition hits the racetrack, April the 16th at Texas. See you then. But on that note, for Derek Watson, for Zach Johnson, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. For the rest of your evening, you've been watching the WINSTEL 2003 Series competition from Atlanta for Speedway.